Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that I am becoming addicted to generators. So today we are going to review this little generator right here that just happened to come across my feed when I was on Amazon, and it is called ALP Next Gen Propane Generator, and it's only a propane generator. But what I found really cool about this little guy is that it works off of 1 pound canisters or a 20-pound cylinder. So I think it's awesome. Another thing that I found that's pretty cool about it is that it's 52 decibels, which is pretty quiet for a generator. The only downturn that I think this has is that it only has a max of 850 running watts, but it has a 1000 watt surge. So this little generator right here, in my opinion, for people that just need to run like a refrigerator and a freezer, would be perfect. And they can just keep it for that and put it away with enough propane for however long they want to run it. So one of the 1 pound propane cylinders, it says here that it will run for 3 hours. So if you have a 20-pound cylinder, it'll run for 60 hours. Let's go ahead and unbox this and see what it comes with. All right, so let's open this guy up. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite color is green. They have different color schemes for these. They come in green, orange, I think blue, red. And it doesn't weigh that much. I have a bum shoulder and I was able to pick this up pretty well. Here is the working end of this generator. And we've got our garden variety AC plugs. These look like they're 20 amp plugs, but you definitely don't want to charge anything off of here with 20 amps because it's way past the 850 continuous watts. 850 continuous watts, I would assume, is roughly about 7 amps or so. So that's about the max that you're going to be able to run off of here either way. However, being that it has two is pretty nice because, like I said, I believe that I can run my refrigerator and my freezer off of this at the same time. So having two is nice. We have a light right here, which I guess is kind of nice to have a light. All we have to do is go like this to turn it on. But obviously the machine has to be running. We have some indicators, a running indicator, just like your regular garden variety generator, an overload indicator, and an oil alarm, which is always nice to have. I just read that it only takes about 6.5 ounces of oil or so in order to fill this engine up. And it has a parallel capacity. That's what these three are for parallel capacity. It has an eco mode, which I'm not sure why I would have an eco mode for only like 850 watts, but it has an eco mode, and this is your off switch. This is supposed to be a 12 volt DC, but I've never seen this type of a connector before. I have no idea what I would have that would be able to use this for 12 volt DC. I can look into it, but to tell you the truth, I'm only interested in these guys right here. So this is the working end, pretty simple. And I have to tell you that by handling it so far, it feels like it's nice and sturdy. This is definitely not a workhorse, but like I said, if you only need a generator like for your refrigerator or freezer or anything that's not going to go above 850 watts continuous, and you just want to put it away, and you want to put away fuel that you know is going to last pretty much forever, just like this canister that I have here. This thing is really old. I mean, look at this, 212. This thing is 10 years old, and the propane inside of it, I guarantee you it's still good. So like I was saying, you can put away some canisters of propane or some cylinders of propane, knowing that it'll pretty much last forever, and then just have this to the side in case you ever need it. It's simple to operate as far as I can see. It just has a few operational devices on it, like your pull string is right here, and then you've got your choke right here. So it's pretty much as simple as it can get. Here's the back right here where your muffler's at, and then on this side right here, you've got where you can get to your spark plug. Okay, and we will be installing an hour meter on this, but I have to purchase another one because I don't have any more. And then this right here would be where you hook up your hose for your propane. Now, if you want to run a 20-pound propane cylinder with this, you're going to have to go ahead and purchase yourself an additional tube. It does not come with this. This is something that you would have to purchase. They do have it available in their brand, which is like a wire braided tubing, but this right here, this would work, ladies and gentlemen. In addition to that, I went ahead and purchased one of these little guys right here, which is just a fuel filter for LP. Should I ever run a 20-pound cylinder with it. But this you don't have to have. It doesn't recommend this. It doesn't say you have to have this. It's just nice to have it for something that you're going to be feeding propane into all the time. I think this would be a good idea. So let's go ahead and put some oil in it. That's pretty much all that I can show you on this. The oil is going to go inside here. You're going to have to take these screws off right here. Take this panel off and then put the oil in it. So let's go ahead and take this panel off and see what it looks like inside. I went ahead and got my green drill since it's a green generator. Make sure that you don't lose those screws, ladies and gentlemen, and this comes off nice and easy. Okay, good to go so far. And right here you can see this is our oil dipstick. Let's go ahead and take this off. If it has a dipstick, it's said in the manual that it may not have an actual dipstick, which this one does. In the manual it stated that if it does not have an actual dipstick, to go ahead and put enough oil until it makes it halfway up the threads. So now let me go ahead and get a small funnel so that we can put some oil in there. Ladies and gentlemen, do not throw away your vacuum pump oil bottles. This is an empty bottle that I have from my oil pump, or for my oil pump for my freeze dryer. And look at this. This is really nice. It's got this little tip on there, and it also has a graduated side that tells you how much is in there. Now 6.7 ounces is what this takes, and it's roughly 200 cc. So I just went into my fuel shed and I went ahead and filled this up to just a tiny bit over 200 cc's, and now I don't need a funnel. I can just pour it in there. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, it'll still take a little more, which is good. I rather put a little less in there and check it than to make a big old mess. So we just went ahead and put the rest of it in there, and let's see if any of it spills out. Hopefully not. And that is perfect. I'm not sure if you can see it, but the oil comes right up to the middle of the threads, which is what it states on the quick start guide that it should come up to. So that is perfect. We'll go ahead and close that up nice and tight, and we'll take a look at here's the choke, right? So here's the start position, here's the choke. Let's go ahead and put that cover back on. Let's hook up some gas to it. Let's see how it runs. And also I'm going to go ahead and get my app on my tablet that has a decibel meter to see how loud this really is. All we have to do now is hook up our hose. And by the way, I use 10W30 synthetic Mobil 1 on this. In the instructions, it says that you can use whatever oil is appropriate for where you live. Now, what I plan on doing with this and any of my smaller generators is I plan on keeping them outside during the winter. However, if we ever lose power, I always start with my solar generators in my house. I always start with that. So what I would do is if I knew that I had to convert to using one of these or a couple of these generators in order to power my appliances, what I would do is I would go ahead and bring them in the house and leave them there for a couple of hours before I brought them outside to start them. That way they would warm up. Let's go ahead and put our hose in here. And it does say on the instructions to make sure that this is nice and snug, but you shouldn't need a wrench, right? You just want to make sure that it's seated well and that it's nice and snug up on there. All right, now we're ready to hook up our propane cylinder to this. Okay, now that we turned it around to make sure that you can see everything on this side as I pull the cord, there's something that I forgot to show you all when I was showing you everything on, and this is a primer. All right, we have to press this primer before we try starting it for 15 to 20 seconds in order to allow any air in the line to be filled with the propane. So let's go ahead and do that now. And that actually took more like 35 seconds before I can smell any propane. Now let's take a look and see how this thing starts. Of course, we want to make sure that we are on choke or on start. So we're going to press our choke all the way here, and let's go ahead and give it a try. I think that started on the second pull, and it runs pretty nice. It doesn't really shake a lot. I find that it doesn't shake as much as the other gasoline generators that I have that are, you know, this size. So pretty impressive that it started like on the second pull. I think it was the second pull. I'll have to rewatch to see if it was the second or third. But it started right up. There's no like bad smell. You know how you get that smell outside of the muffler it smells really toxic? Now, I would never recommend that you run this inside at all, ladies and gentlemen, ever. And if and whenever I do run a generator outside of my house, it's not near an entrance. Okay? All right, let's get that out of the way right there, okay? Because safety is first and foremost. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get my tablet that has my app for the meter for the decibels for the sound, and we're going to go ahead and plug something into this. We're going to plug something in that'll go up to 1,000 watts and see if this maintains, and also 500 watts to see if this maintains, see how it does. All right, so we'll be back here in a jiffy. All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and I brought with me a couple of things. I brought with me a watt meter. If you plug this in as such, once we have power going through this generator, the watt meter will turn on, and whatever you plug into it, it will tell you how many watts it's drawing. Okay, so we're going to be able to tell how many watts this. I have a heater on the floor. I have a small heater on the floor that when it's on low, it sucks about roughly 500 watts, and on high, it uses about roughly 900 and change, a little over 900 watts. We'll see if we can trip this running at over 900 watts for more than a few seconds, but we'll see also how it sounds. I've got my tablet, and here I've got a meter that can tell you how high the decibels are or how much sound is coming off of this. As you can see right now, by me just talking, it's reading about 70 something decibels, which is pretty loud, but this says that it will do 52 decibels. Now let me be quiet for a second. That way you can see how many decibels just natural sounds is. So you can see that with just the natural sounds around us, well, not necessarily natural, because I'm not sure if you heard a little bit of banging in the distance, and I can actually hear some cars running down the road here about a half mile away or so. But you can see that it was around 41 or 42 decibels, and we will then see what it is once this is turned on without a load, and then what it sounds like or how many decibels it is when it's on eco, when it's on high, and then when we put a load on of 500, and then around 900 and change. Right, so let's first go ahead and turn it on. I know that my refrigerator maxes or surges up to about 450 watts or so, and my freezer is even less than that. So I'm pretty sure that I can run both of them at the same time, even if they both surge at the same time, and keep this running. Because both my refrigerator and my freezer, if they surge at the same time, we're looking at about maybe 900 watts. But you saw that it held the 900 watts for quite a while before it faulted. Now, if it faults, all you have to do is just stop it or shut it down and then restart it, and it'll start right back up. Now, one thing that I would do, and one thing that I think that this is a pretty nice little generator for is, again, if you have a solar generator. So what I would do is if I start my house on solar generator power, once the power goes out, what I would do is wait until it was at about 50% discharge, the energy in the solar generator, 50 or 70% discharged, and then I would go to this little generator right here. And then what I would do is I would run my refrigerator and my freezer off of it, or one or the other, and at the same time I would be charging my solar generator. Depending on what kind of solar generator you have would depend on how fast or how long it would take for you to charge it. So if you have a 20-pound cylinder that you're running this off of, let's say it'll run off of it for about 50 hours. It says that it's rated for like 60 hours. However, we know that when we fill up a 20-pound cylinder, there's not actually 20 pounds in there. They have to leave a little bit of headspace in that cylinder, and they don't fill it up to the exact specifications of that tank so that there can be room in there to expand the gas, right? So let's say that it runs it for 50 hours. And let's say that it takes you about 5 hours to recharge your solar generators. That means that you can do about 10 cycles between your solar generator and that 120-pound cylinder of propane before you run out of propane. And depending on how long the power outage is, it may just be that 120-pound cylinder will get you through a power outage, like what's going on in Florida right now. There may be people there that are out of power for a couple of weeks. Well, then it may be that it would be a good idea for you to have like 5 or 6 of those 20-pound propane cylinders, and this would at least keep your refrigerator, freezer going, and solar generators charged if you don't have any sun. So I think this is a nice little gadget to have. Do you have to have it? No, but I think this is a nice little generator to have. It just gives you more options. I don't think that I've seen any other generators that run on only propane. And although I know that you can get a conversion kit for these generators to run propane off of them, I've never seen a generator this size right here that's just propane, and that's what this is. So it depends what you're looking for. It depends what you need to use it for, on whether it would make sense for you to get this or not. For me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just addicted to generators. Like I'm addicted to flashlights, okay? Now, listen, this was fun. I had a lot of fun doing this video. If you want me to do more of these videos, I would be really happy to do them. Give me some ideas on things that you want me to check out for you. And if I can get it, then I will. And I'll do a review. I'm not going to turn into a review channel. It's just I really enjoy doing this stuff, and I really like taking a look at new things. And who knows, there may be someone out there that this generator is the perfect generator for them, right? Even if 1 or 2 people find that this would actually add value to their lives, then it was well worth it for me. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got something out of this. Thank you very much for joining in. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.